And congratulations. Have you had a chance to reflect at all this week on 200 games and what it means?
Honestly, not really. I think at this stage of the year, around 21, I think we're at, and with kind of a lot to look forward to. I've kind of been doing that more so than thinking about the past, but I think hopefully, we'll have a win tomorrow night, and I'll take the weekend to catch up with some friends and family and really think about the previous 200 games.
You arrived at the club, I think, in a premiership. You only drafted 2010 and 2011 premiership year, and you probably think as a youngster, gee, hopefully this happens to me, but it still hasn't happened to you yet. You obviously got close last year. How much is that still driving you as you getting to your late 20s and tick over 200 games? You'd love to add a premiership to the resume.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that drives most of the guys here. I can't speak for other clubs, but kind of realising that kind of ultimate goal. And I think the other thing would be, I think we've got the potential to do it. So I guess realising that potential and accomplishing something together would be massive for our team, but also the wider community. With everything that's kind of happened the last couple of years, our fans and that kind of thing. So kind of mind on the job tomorrow and one eye on what's ahead.
You've played in a few losing prelims, Cam, and then last year, obviously the first time that you got to the grand final. Did you sense that there was something a little bit different about the group this time around off the back of being that one step closer at all?
Hard to say, Lockie, but I think that it was in some ways a hurdle we had to reach, because I think in that kind of last kind of 4 attempts, coming up short does kind of make you think, will it ever happen? Will we ever get the chance to kind of play in the grand final? And going back to what I said about we think our team has the potential to do great things. We felt like we didn't really live up to that, which was perhaps the most disappointing thing. So we know that we can make it now. Last year confirmed that, and we'd love to go one further.
And your own form, obviously, you've got the Kaji Groves medal on your CV now, but you have been sort of playing along the same sort of lines again this year. Talk to us about, I guess, the personal journey from being a guy who sort of played a little bit in defence, and then from my sort of recollections, spent a bit of time as a lockdown midfielder, and now you're just sort of an out-and-out sort of ball winner yourself. Talk to us about that journey that you've been on.
Yeah, I think the last couple of years has been really good for me. I've had a lot of freedom to kind of call the shots and get after it and play with a bit of flair and that kind of thing. Not that I was told not to previously, but I feel like I'm at a point in my career where I'm really confident in my abilities, but also my teammates around me and trying to help them, and I know that they can help me. So I feel like it's my career's kind of been on a good kind of natural trajectory, if you might say that. But I think honestly at this stage of my career, I don't really think about myself too much as an individual. Obviously you have to get yourself right, because your teammates rely on what you can bring to the table, but it's also realising what my individual talents can kind of bring to help the team.
And obviously it's been discussed in the media and speculation about your future at the Cats. Can you give us an update on where things are at in terms of a new deal for 2022 and beyond in the Hoops?
Yeah, well, we're working towards an outcome at the moment that I think both parties will be really pleased with. I've made it a priority to kind of play really good footy and let that kind of take care of itself, and it was on my mind a little bit kind of early in the year, but honestly, kind of coming into finals, it's much more exciting to think about playing footy and realising a goal and a dream with the team rather than thinking about a couple of pieces of paper. So I think we're on the right track.
Is that something we might have to wait until potentially post-season to hear about, or is it more imminent than that?
I'm not sure of the exact timeline yet, mate. We'll kind of see how it plays out. As I've said, we're kind of working hard to I guess to reach an agreement that both sides are happy with, and yeah, I'm hoping that'll be soon.
Cam, off the back of last year, obviously a lot of games played in quick succession and straight into this season. You had the shoulder injury halfway through the year in that Suns game. How is the body feeling as in this last month of the season before finals?
Yeah, it's feeling really good at the moment. I think that was Mitch. Had that little shoulder issue. It was pretty sore for a couple of weeks, and I played a little bit sore for the next couple, but feeling really good now. I think in a way it might have freshened me up a little bit. Hopefully we end up playing kind of 24, 25 games with finals and that kind of thing. So maybe a couple that I missed during the year won't matter too much, and the boys played really well in those weeks and got the 4 points. So that's all I could ask for as a teammate, and yeah, as I said, now body's feeling great and kind of ready to attack the last little portion of the year.
You glad to beat Blitz to 200, Cam? What did you think about having a couple off and doing it together?
He did mention that actually. It actually would have been nice to do that together. We've played a lot of footy together, obviously. I think he started maybe 20 odd games behind me, kind of when he started at the start of, I think, 2013. He played his first game, so he's caught up with me, but didn't quite pit me. But I'm looking forward to, I guess, sharing that moment together tomorrow, and then in a couple of weeks when he plays his, doing the same thing.
How right were you for your brother last week with his performance? He's been a, not to be derogatory, a spare parts player probably a bit over his career, that he fills a hole where it's needed, but last week, he stood up when, somebody needed to stand up. Yeah,
I thought he played really well, mate. I wasn't absolutely wrapped for him or anything like that. I think he just went out and did his job, and that's what's expected of him. That's what I expect of him as a teammate as well. He kind of, to be honest, he plays like that most weeks in the VFL, so it wasn't necessarily a shock to see him kind of take his marks and use the ball really well. We've got a lot of kind of young players who can come into the team and kind of play their part. So looking forward to kind of seeing what Zach can do for the rest of the season, but also our the young guys.
Obviously, Zach came in as a late inclusion and like we said, did really well. Is there a lot of that good problem to have and that pressure within the club of those players really knocking on the door for selection week in, week out, and putting a lot of pressure on the 22 each weekend as well?
Yeah, for sure. And I think at our club, we're kind of happy for everyone that comes in and plays a massive role in the team's success. There's not too much, politics or anything like that. Everyone's genuinely happy to kind of give everyone else a pat on the back, which is a sign of a great culture. So, as you said, I think we'd be really happy to roll out 28 or 30 of our list in or any given week, but also a big final, which is, shows how deep we are.
How grateful are you, Cam, that you've sort of straddled the great players of the club, that you came into the Ling, Johnson, Kelly, Enright era and got to play with them, but now you get to play with, Dangerfield, Higgins, Cameron, Smith. You must pinch yourself at the names you've got to play with.
Yeah, really grateful, King. I think watching the best go about their business isn't kind of a given. Or as a teammate anyway, and I'm really fortunate to have had many great teammates along the way, and guys that will go down as kind of all-time greats as well. But I think one thing that I took from them is that they're just people in the end, and I really admire the way that they kind of held themselves like that. They kind of didn't ask for any handouts, or they weren't like aloof in any way. So, and I think that's a hallmark of what Geelong stands for as well.
Speaking of some of those names, you inherited the number 29 jumper. Obviously, Gary Abler wore it before you. Do you feel like you've made that number your own over the years? Obviously, Kaji Greaves, All-Australian, and now 200 games. You must be wrapped after what was probably an interesting I guess when you first got that number, an interesting experience to take on in your first game as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, mate. That's probably been far from my mind for the last few years. Obviously, it was great to have Gary back and to spend some time with him as a player and a person. So I think that probably made it, a little bit more special having him back and to be his teammate for a couple of years. But I think, kind of the older you get, there's a few more pressing things to think about.
Did he ever ask for the 29 when he came back, Cam?
Nah, that conversation never happened, Kingy, but would have been interesting if he did. Not sure what I would have done.
Long sleeves tomorrow night, Cam, for a night game. A little bit chilly, early August.
Have you got the forecast there, mate? I don't know.
Yeah, not overly warm.
Yeah, big chance then. We'll see how we go.
So, sorry, Cam, just before we finish up, so just to be really clear, the expectation is that you will be at Geelong next year and beyond.
I would definitely hope that's the case, mate. Yeah, I'm super committed here.